When you think about climate change, it's easy to picture melting glaciers or rising seas, right? But what about something way closer to home? I'm talking about what's on your dinner plate. Because for most of us, the single biggest way we're going to experience a changing climate is through the food we eat. So let's break down what that really means. This quote from Stanford researcher Solomon Hasing, wow, it really hits home. It takes this huge, abstract concept, a 3 degrees Celsius rise in temperature, and makes it something we can all feel in our gut. An empty stomach in the morning. See, it's not about polar bears, it's about our daily bread.
And hey, this isn't just a clever saying. There's hard math behind that lost breakfast. The data shows that for every single degree of warming, the world stands to lose about 120 calories per person per day. That's the number you see here. Think of it like a bowl of oatmeal or a couple pieces of toast, just gone from the global food supply.
Okay, so let's get into how this actually happens. Our entire agricultural system, the whole thing, is built on a predictable climate. And that predictability? It's starting to disappear, putting our most basic, most fundamental food sources in real jeopardy.
And this chart shows us exactly what's at stake. We're talking about massive potential drops in the crops we rely on most. I mean, look at U.S. corn. Yields could fall by nearly half. China's wheat, a cornerstone of their food supply, could see a 35% drop. Now, you might notice rice actually goes up a tiny bit. That's because it can benefit from warmer nights. But make no mistake, the overall picture for our global bread baskets is pretty grim.
And you know, it's not just about the thermometer slowly ticking up. The real danger comes from this whole cascade of interconnected problems. We're talking about intense droughts, sudden and destructive storms like that 2020 derecho that just flattened millions of acres of corn in the Midwest, and even new outbreaks of pests and diseases. And this isn't just a problem for farmers. It hits all of us right at the grocery store, just like we saw when the 2022 European heat wave sent food prices soaring.
But here's the crucial point. This future isn't set in stone. The path we choose on emissions has a direct, dramatic impact on our ability to grow food. In a low-emissions world, we might lose less than 8% of our current cropland. But on the high-emissions path we're on now, we could see nearly a third of the world's farmland become unusable. The stakes just could not be higher.
So that's the problem. And yeah, it's big and it's scary. But it is not the end of the story. Because all over the world, farmers, scientists, and innovators are fighting back. Let's dig into how agriculture is adapting to this completely new reality.
The response isn't some single magic bullet. Instead, it's a combination of 4 key strategies all working together. It all starts with smarter water management. Then it moves to breeding tougher crops that can take the heat, diversifying our farms to spread the risk, and finally, using advanced tech to make everything more efficient.
One of these strategies, which is part of diversified farming, is something called agroforestry. It sounds a little technical, but the idea is actually super simple and pretty brilliant. You just integrate trees right into your fields. These trees give shade, they protect the soil from washing away, and they create a more resilient ecosystem that's way better at handling extreme weather. It's an old idea that's getting a very modern new look.
Now, it's really important to be realistic here. All these amazing adaptations, from gene-edited crops to high-tech irrigation, they're incredibly helpful, but they are not a get-out-of-jail-free card. The best estimates suggest they can offset about a third of the projected losses from climate change. They buy us time and they make us tougher, but they can't erase the underlying problem of a warming planet.
So, if our farms are changing, it just makes sense that our diets will have to change too. And this is where it gets really personal. Let's take a look at what the dinner plate of the future might actually hold.
Get ready for some new additions to your grocery list. We're going to see a rise in ancient, drought-tolerant grains like sorghum and millet. We'll be eating more from the ocean, things like nutrient-packed seaweed. And yep, the protein aisle is going to look different too, with options like crickets and mealworms right alongside plant-based meats. We might even turn to hardy wild foods like dandelion greens that thrive when other crops fail.
And there's a very good reason for these shifts. I mean, let's just take protein. This slide makes the difference crystal clear. Producing conventional beef takes a staggering amount of land and water and creates huge emissions. Insect protein? It uses a tiny fraction of those resources. It's a completely different equation. It's not even close.
So this really is the question for all of us, isn't it? Looking at that future menu, what's a bridge too far for you, and what are you ready to put on your plate tomorrow? A cricket powder protein shake? A seaweed salad? It's something we're all going to be thinking about.
But this isn't just about our taste buds. This transformation of our food system has enormous economic consequences, and, more importantly, a profound human cost.
And again, I want to be really clear about this. This is not a far-off, hypothetical future. It's happening right now. The warming that has already happened has slowed the growth of global agricultural productivity by a staggering 21%. That's compared to a world without climate change. We are already living with these consequences.
This chart really breaks down the human stakes. That first slice shows that even before the pandemic, 750 million people were undernourished. The second slice? That represents the hundreds of millions more that climate change threatens to push into hunger by the middle of this century. The world's most vulnerable people are, of course, bearing the heaviest burden. So it all comes back to this critical choice, this fork in the road we can see on the timeline. The path we take in the next few years will determine which of these two vastly different futures we create for our global food supply. A world where we manage to save most of our farmland, or one where we lose nearly a third of it.
Ultimately, the story of the future of food is one of incredible resilience and innovation in the face of a challenge we've never seen before. Our farms, our crops, our entire food system, they're being forced to adapt. So the crucial point, and the question we're all left with, is a personal one. Will we?